The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
What's going on, everybody? I know what it is, man. It's your boy, Raider Rob, here, and you now tune in to Raider Nation Central. That's right, where we talk about all things, the other things, silver and black. Real quick, let me get a Raiders. Yeah, man. Y'all already know what it is, man. Listen, man. Thank you guys for checking out the channel. If you're new to the channel, go ahead, smash that like, comment, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Dropping videos every week. This week is an interesting week. Y'all know what week it is. Raider Nation is draft week. All right. And y'all already know we sitting with that number one pick. So we're going to get to the bottom of this right now. But listen, man, by the title of this video, y'all already know what it is. Hey, man, I really got to get on here and just kind of voice my frustration, right? I didn't want to make this video, but I'm just going to make this real short, sweet, and to the point. All right. I'm going to bring up a few things. Going to talk about some, I don't want to say disgust. Let's just say I'm kind of not really feeling the mindset of some of the Raider Nation affiliates, right? And this is what I mean. So I was scrolling YouTube, right, just checking out a couple channels, and I was kind of looking at a channel that was doing a live feed. So I chime in. I'm just checking it out. I'm not going to name the channel right now because I'm not trying to be like that. It was just what they were talking about, right? And this is, mind you, this is 3 days before the draft. Um, they were basically, a lot of them was going in on Fernando Mendoza. And one of the things that really got me was they didn't want the Raiders to draft Mendoza. They believe that Mendoza is not a good quarterback. They don't believe Mendoza is the elite quarterback. They didn't believe that the Raiders should take the draft and use Mendoza, or the draft pick, I mean, and use on Mendoza. They feel like they should trade back. Next year, there's going to be a plethora of quarterbacks and yada, yada, yada. And one of the things, the reason why I wanted to make this video tonight, because I've already made a mock draft video, put that out. Go back and check that out. Me and Uncle Daddy kind of broke down who we like to see. And, I was going to make a video more about talking about mock drafts, but I decided to make this video because I wanted to bring some clarity to the situation of sometimes what we do as fans. And the reason why a lot of fans, I think, are looking for something that I think is not really there, right? So let's just put this in perspective. The Raiders have done everything that they set out to do this year, except for the Max Crosby trade, right? The Max Crosby trade fell through, but they were still able to sign the free agents they want. They obviously got the bridge quarterback they wanted. They got the head coach that they were going after. And they feel like they are grabbing their QB of the future. In this, I don't want to, like I said, I'm not going to name the channel. But I will say this. When I was listening to those guys talk, they were talking about he's not an elite quarterback. And I really want to hit on that. And I want a lot of people to understand the NFL, right? I think we get to this notion of eliteness, right? We start talking about elite and what that means. Um, and I just think some people have this false pretense in their head that elite means like if you get the number one quarterback, he's got to be the elite guy, and rightfully so. That is true. When you have the number one pick, you want to make sure you make the best choice so that you will not squander that pick. But the problem I have with it is that people don't like Mendoza because he's not the shiny toy. He's not the guy that they feel is better than certain other quarterbacks in the draft. And the only one I'm really hearing a lot of is Ty Simpson. Like I said, the whole thing came out with Dan Orlovsky, and he got ripped apart for his opinion about it. Hey man, Dan's going to say what he's going to say. He's got an opinion. He's got an opinion. He's got a right to say his opinion, right? But what gets me is to say that you don't think that Fernando is deserving of the number one pick because he doesn't pass your eye test. Well, I'm gonna tell you what he does pass. He passed the heart test, the competitive test, the teammate test, the student test. And for anybody that has a problem with what the Raiders are doing right now, I think that you really need to take a step back and relax. Yeah, man, listen. Raiders fans, we have been in the dumpsters for a while, right? But if you are really, really a Raiders fan, as far as like your commitment to the organization and what you want out of the team, you should be very, very optimistic about the way this team is moving right now. One of the things that I think that we starting to get a notion of is, it's especially in the NFL, everything has to be done super quick. Like you got to show signs. I'm gonna tell you like this, and just use this in perspective because everyone wants to bring up the stat about the last number one picks. At number one, they don't ever win Super Bowls. Well, maybe they don't come in the systems that are already built. It has to grow. Maybe coaches get fired. Maybe organization goes through some rough times. Things happen. Maybe takes an injury. Who knows? Right? And I was gonna go through all of that and bring up every quarterback, but it really wasn't even needed for this video. You know what I'm saying? One of the things I will say is that if you believe what the Raiders did this year in the off season is something that you appreciate and you feel like, hey, we are moving the pieces the way they're supposed to be moved, then sit back, relax, and take a chill pill, right? Stop trying to say who's not ready for what. For Fernando Mendoza, if he wasn't that good, right, they wouldn't have won the Natty. They wouldn't have won the Natty. He won the Heisman, and everybody wants to say, well, it's because they went undefeated. There's been plenty of quarterbacks that won the Heisman that didn't go undefeated. There's plenty of quarterbacks that won the Heisman that didn't win the Natty. And then we want to say, well, just because he was coming out, doesn't matter. Johnny Manziel never played for a national championship. You know, he won one. So did Adrian Peterson. I mean, in the sense of it, I understand what people feel about the Heisman, but it is when you win the Heisman, you were killing that year. You were setting the bar, and that for me, for him, for what he did in Indiana, says a lot about his character. Right? This kid, everyone wants to say, well, what did he do? He won games. Like he won games. And for the most part, it's starting to get a little annoying to hear the Raiders, some of these Raiders fans that call themselves Raiders fans that don't like Fernando Mendoza. I will tell you firsthand, do I think Fernando Mendoza is a elite quarterback? I don't know, especially in the NFL. But we're sure, are we sure that anybody coming out next year is going to be elite? We don't know. I will say this: Fernando Mendoza is going to have the best opportunity to succeed with this Raiders organization under Spytek and Kubiak's system. He's going to have the best opportunity. If he cannot make do with that opportunity, things will change. All right. And that's happened. That's just the NFL, man. Listen, we have had a lot of turnover, and right now it seems like that's gonna slow down just a bit. Um, there's still who knows what Mark Davis is gonna do, but I do right now trust John Spytek and his vision with what he's seen for this team. I feel like he went and grabbed the right coach for what he needed. I believe Kubiak is a football through and through guy. I believe that they want to make the right moves they need to make so that they can bring a championship to Vegas, right? So they can reestablish a culture there. It's been reported, right now, Spytek's making you, I'm sorry, Kubiak make you earn that shield on the side of your helmet. That's starting a culture there. Nobody else, no other coaches did that, right? I like that because it sets the tone of like you got to work for it. You got to really want to be a Raider. And why not have somebody like Fernando Mendoza that's gonna come in there? He's gonna work his butt off. He's gonna want to get better. But then also, it's not just on him. I think that's one thing that's really kind of not registering to me about some of these Raider fans that don't like Mendoza. Like they expect Mendoza to do it all. What good is that? What good is that having your quarterback do it all? You guys see what Josh Allen goes through day in, year after year. You if you want Josh Allen, yeah, of course. But I bet you Josh Allen would definitely want to make sure that he had certain pieces around him to help him be successful, right? Sam Darnold just won a Super Bowl, guys. Sam Darnold wasn't even a Super Bowl MVP, but Sam Darnold was a top pick in the NFL draft, right? But you need to have a super elite quarterback to win Super Bowls. Everybody wants a Patrick Mahomes. Well, Patrick Mahomes type players don't come out every year. Generational players don't come out every year, right? Tom Brady wasn't the fastest guy, but he worked his butt off. You work hard in the NFL, it's going to show. And I think that we should give Fernando Mendoza an opportunity to show that this is his team that he can take to the next level. I like Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. I do know this. Kirk Cousins always bets on himself, and somehow, some way, he usually gets through it. Now, I will say that I think for him, he's wanting to compete. He wants to stay on the field long as he can and let that kid ride the pine and keep working on getting better. The transition for this team is has to be a overall organizational move, right? You got to know what you got and then make the moves you need to make. So, if Fernando Mendoza wasn't the guy, I don't believe the Raiders would draft him. That's just my opinion. Um, I don't think if they didn't feel like he wasn't the guy, it's still up in the air that they are going to draft him. But if he's getting drafted to the Raiders, he's the guy of the future, and they're going to make sure that they have as the ample amount of opportunities to let give him to succeed. The defense is the defense. I will say this: if our defense can become a top 10, top five wrecking crew, it will be up for the Raiders, right? In any year. We don't need an elite quarterback to take us to the promised land if our defense is playing lights out. And that's something that I want us to do. If our running game is solid, right? If we can hit on the plethora of receivers that we brought in that can help move the chains, the tight ends that we got, all these key pieces we got, and y'all just worried that Mendoza ain't the guy. You're not paying attention to the rest of the team, and for that was where it left me disgusted because why are we just talking about that? And then to the notion of people were more excited about our special teams player Young getting picked up. I ain't never seen a special teams player on a 4th and 1, right? I've never seen them out there on the field on a 4th and 1 play, and they're the ones getting the ball. Let's cut the BS. The Raiders are trying to build the culture. The people that want the Raiders to be the team of the past, well, what team is that? Because if you're talking about the 2000s, you ain't seen nothing but subpar mediocrity. In the tenure of Max Crosby's time here with the Raiders, he's made the playoffs once. Derek Carr as well, twice. I'm sorry, Derek Carr made, well, he got injured, but Derek Carr has only played in one playoff game as well. So what are you really looking at, right? Take the opportunity, understand that the Raiders are definitely trying to make moves to push us to the next level. First and foremost, if Kubiak and Spytek decided to pivot from that, then that's the plan that we gotta trust. But then we deal with whatever is coming to us. I personally believe that with them sitting at the number 1 pick, knowing that Fernando's there, knowing the market value with Fernando, knowing what it would do for the city of Vegas as far as him being in the building is monumental. I feel like drafting Fernando and letting him sit and learn and see the NFL from a vantage point. So then once he's in there, he can move accordingly, especially learning the playbook, just trying to get better. I know he wants to play. I know he wants the opportunity to start, but he also knows that this is a journey, and he looks like he's up for the task of it. I think we as Raiders fans have to take that and understand that we've seen a lot of ups and downs with this team, man. A lot of ups and downs, but I'm more and more optimistic each time I look and I see the signings that we have and the guys that's in the building. It has to translate to the field, and that's something that we're gonna that Spy Tech and Kubiak are gonna have to work on. That's nothing more than what any other team have to do. But the Raiders had no culture, right? It was too much turnover, and now we have an opportunity to set ourselves up for the next 10 plus years. And guys are saying pass on that, wait till next year. For who? Put it down in the comments. Tell me who's people are waiting on. You waiting on Arch Manning? Are we sure Arch Manning is gonna be the guy? You waiting on Chambers or whatever it was his name is? You waiting on him? Who we waiting on? The kid from Oregon? Like I'm very confused at what the Raiders were supposed to do with the number 1 pick then. Obviously take the Heisman Trophy national championship winner. The guy that's been winning, and then we want one thing they want to say. This is what kills me. The team was loaded. Well, no shit. That's what you're supposed to do, dumbass. It really just turns my gears when I hear somebody bring up accolades of why he was successful. Like football is played by itself. Most fans don't even understand the game. Most fans don't even talk the game. Most fans just talk their opinion of what they like and what they don't like, right? So for a lot of you fans that feel like this is not a good move, tell me what the move is. Because all I heard on that that live was Drake Young. That blew my mind. We talking about a special teamer. A special teamer? You was excited about a special teamer over a Heisman Trophy national championship quarterback that beat Bama. that beat Oregon, that beat Miami. Are you crazy? Most of the time, man, when I start hearing stuff like that, I usually just ignore it. But I couldn't even believe it. I was just sitting here like, what am I missing? And like I said, I'm not going back to Dan Orlovsky. He's got a right to his opinion. He just said he felt like Simpson was a better quarterback. Okay, so what? That don't mean GMs are gonna listen to him. Why? Because he's been in the NFL. There's been a lot of people in the NFL that gave good takes and bad takes. They don't, that doesn't mean just because they said they like this guy and it pans out, they go get hired. You guys are killing me with this. Like, wake up. Stop overthinking it and look at what the obvious is. The team is making moves to build a team. They not, you know, respect to the Titans, man, but they had to throw Cam Ward out there. Cam showed signs that he could compete, and now they're trying to build around him. But he got murdered, just annihilated last year, man. You go look at what the Browns did with Dylan Gabriel and Shador. Nobody wants to see their rookie quarterbacks have to go through that. That's a tough learning curve. It doesn't mean you're always gonna come out on top. You look at how people literally just wrote off Caleb Williams until Ben Johnson got there. The process is the process. If you don't like it, cool. If you don't like the personnel, cool. You want some. You just want to feel good. You want to feel like you got a little shiny star. That's ridiculous, man. Football is about building and having the right people in the building. If you don't take that for what it is, then I don't really know what to tell you. That's the one thing about Spy Tech that I like. He gonna do his best for the organization. He's gonna make sure he's gonna put the right people in place that he can. I love the fact of him kind of orchestrating and maneuvering the contracts to where it gives him flexibility. I love the fact that Kubiak made it known that hey, you got to work for this. There's a lot going on with this team that is showing signs that they're moving in the right direction just as a culture standpoint. I feel like when we did have Antonio Pierce there, the culture was still that grit, hardcore, physicality style of football. I just think that Antonio Pierce would have took him a lot longer to get the other side because he was very unfamiliar with being even hell a coordinator, coaching a whole team, having that responsibility. I feel like he was going to have to have a long journey, which respectfully I would have been fine with because as long as the team respects you, you're going to get the best out of them. And I feel like with Kubiak, they got that. With Pete Carroll, might have been a little different because I think Pete's process was not matching with the energy of the team, right? But somebody like Kubiak that's familiar, new, but just knowing he is going to do everything in his power to make sure that the Raiders are on top. That's the one thing that I'm hoping for, right? And for a lot of the fans, man, just chill. Today we draft, baby. And one thing I can say is this: is sit back, pour your nice cocktail, and enjoy the fact that we will have our quarterback of the future. And guess what? It doesn't pan out. A lot of these people talking about it's going to set us back for years. Shut up. It's not. Didn't set back the Bears for years. Remember who they went and drafted. right? And then they still ended up with Caleb Williams. So at the end of the day, man, you got to do what's best because you're trying to compete and you're trying to set the precedent to having a winning program. And I feel like Spytek and Kubiak have done that. That is something that I am noticing right now. Probably this is the most excited I've seen a lot of people. I'm actually excited because just the off season moves with the free agency did a lot for me. It let me know y'all not effing around. It's time to get busy, right? It's time to rain havoc in the NFL. So strap up, get ready to crack some heads because the Raider Nation, oh, it's about to be on and popping. But listen, man, I wasn't gonna take up too much time. That's my rant for right now. If you're new to the channel, give your boy a subscribe. I'm trying to build this channel organically, man. It helps me. It helps my algorithm. Um, post post draft, when all the drafts are done, I'll be dropping a highlight video of our draft picks, man. I want you guys to check it out, man. Check out my Instagram, Raider underscore Nation underscore Central. You know what I'm saying? Going to be putting up all our draft picks, man. Gonna be following some new guys. Yo, man, I want to talk to you guys. Let's go. Are we ready? Are you guys ready for the draft? All right. I know I am. Just had to come on here and say this, man. Listen, Raiders are coming. Pause. But without that, man, I will let you guys go. This your boy, man, Raider Rob, and I'm out. Raider Nation.